Let's talk about Beau and Grace specifically and what they represent in this film. When things first start to go south, everyone's trying to figure out what are the next steps. But immediately, Grace's first instinct is to leave. And she literally says to Beau, we came here to help them with the party, not this. And for me, this really represented something that we see a lot of with other communities of color, where we will be with Black people and close to Black people when we're beneficiaries of their culture or their work or their spaces. But as soon as they need us to have their back, we're out of there. Grace could have easily waited a few moments or had Beau check in and see what was going on, and they would have understood, or at least better understood, what the situation was, which then could have kept Beau from actually going out to get the car and maybe ultimately saving his life. But as soon as things got complicated, she was out of there because she didn't want to be involved and she didn't want to be associated. Now, once it's been clear that the crew is in some serious danger is when Grace's actions are now considered pretty controversial to people. Some people think that she has good reason to react the way that she did. Other people feel like she is kind of the antagonist because she's ultimately the reason why the crew didn't survive. When Grace finds out that Beau is a vampire and that Rimek has gotten so good into his head that there's a good chance that they will go down to the town and attack Lisa, their daughter, she loses it completely. At that point, she doesn't care to stay safely inside the juke joint until they have a plan. Her only goal is to kill Beau to protect Lisa. And I have to defend Grace here because she is ultimately a mother. And that's something that I think we all have to remember. A mother's instincts and a mother's protectiveness is unlike any others. A mother will put themselves in danger in order to protect her child. And I don't think any mom out there would disagree that it doesn't matter who is in the way or what happens. All that matters to you is protecting your child. So of course, in calling in the vampire, she was putting not just her life, but everyone else's life at risk. That's a risk that Grace is willing to take because she's a mother. And all that matters to her is that she's able to protect her baby. And honestly, she goes out like a G. I mean, she goes straight to Beau, caught on fire, burns to death, but ensures that he is killed in order to keep Lisa safe. But that being said, I do still think that if Grace took a minute to just think and to allow someone like Annie, who had as much knowledge as she did have, to tell her what they should do next, they would have actually probably had a better plan going into the attack, maybe even had a better chance at survival. She wasn't even thinking and just called in the vampires without the crew actually being ready to take them on. And for me, that also represents how in moments where we need to listen to Black voices to understand their struggle or what steps to take to actually have equality in society, those voices go unheard or spoken over because, like I said, Annie had knowledge that Grace did not have. She knew exactly what they needed to do in order to defeat the vampires. Grace, for me, is definitely a character that represents POC